Coming up this week, I talk about slopping on the tracks headed to London. When I get there, I shop for a gift for my wife for her birthday. And after the trip, I attend an amazing orchestra performance for my daughter's last performance in junior high. But first, let's go back to Darren, who's driving to the airport on day one. I'm also Darren.
So I sometimes say that on a bad day, I fly a 777 to London. Uh, I have so much to merge in, and I signaled, and they were way behind me, and they sped up. Uh, Hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. And yeah, I'm flying to London today as the fourth pilot. Most London trips are 3-pilot trips. This is an IOE trip. I believe it's a captain getting their IOE, and I believe it's their first trip. IOE is initial operating experience, so it's their first time flying a 777 as a captain. They're flying with another Czech airman, a lead captain. And then how it all works is they have an extra pilot on board. We work in pairs on this kind of trip. On a normal 3-person crew, we swap one at a time, but because the other pilot isn't qualified yet, I can't be sitting up there with an unqualified pilot, but a Czech airman can. So originally for the month of May, I had 2 Londons and 2 Madrids. I traded all but 1 Madrid away. One of them I can't get rid of. It is what it is. And I wait and see what opens up. I am not that senior. I'm very, very junior. I'm about 3/4 of the way up the list in my status. Very junior. But last week I got a Narita trip opened up. I like Narita. It was easy. And so I was hoping for something similar this week. But beggars can't be choosers. So I got back from Narita last week and I had off several days. And I'm like, well, nothing's opening up, so gotta go to work. Just to fill a hole in the schedule. I like to have a certain number of hours in my schedule per month, in the low to mid 90 range. You see on the screen what I have right now. Anyway, planned out for a whole month. So I was at a crawfish get together, thrown by my wife's coworker, a friend of mine. I've known her for over a decade now, and a trip to Dublin opened up today. Also a 4-pilot crew, normally a 3-pilot crew. But again, someone's getting trained. And I said, yeah, I'd like to go to Dublin. And there's also this London trip I got. Well, everything is done by seniority. So I put in for the Dublin first, and then I said, if I can't get Dublin, I'll do London. Dublin went senior to me, of course, so I got London. And again, Dublin is worth less money, but people got burned out by London so much, they'd rather go to Dublin over London. So it's what it is. So this is a 4-pilot crew. Very easy trip. I mean, this is one of the easiest trips you can do on the 777 is a 4-pilot crew being the 4th pilot. Contrary to popular belief, the relief pilots slots typically go senior to the flying slots. The easiest job at the airline is a relief pilot on a wide body. Seriously. So they're actually fixing the roads here. Wow. Huh. They almost care. So yeah. The captain did message me last night. I've flown with either the captain or the new captain before, according to my app. I think it's the new captain. I've flown with him before to Narita last year when I was brand new on the airplane. But anyways, he messaged me last night saying him and the new captain are going to the RAF club to have dinner. And they're having dinner with a mosquito pilot, I believe, from World War II. And they invited me and the other relief pilot along. Now, the RAF club I've never been to. I think it's a Royal Air Force club. But in order to get in, you have to have a suit and tie, a jacket and tie, and I'm not that kind of guy. And I believe in order to be accepted into there, you have to be either a guest or in the military, I believe. But the dinner is in the evening, and I'm an early bed to go to person, so I appreciate their invite, and I said that's okay. And then the other relief pilot, she said that she has family in town, so she's going to go see her family anyway. So I'll be doing my own thing. I did go out last week to Narita with the crew, so this week I'm going to do my own solo thing. Again, it's a 4-pilot crew, 777-300, which I haven't been on in a long time. I haven't been on very much because it normally goes to London. Anyways, the trip has a 2:10 p.m. report time. It's 1:15 now. I have plenty of time to get there. It's kind of like a gentleman's trip, I call it, because we leave here at 3:10. We get there around midnight Dallas time, so it's not a real red eye by any means. But we leave there, I think at 8 10 in the morning. Whenever, no, we leave there at the equivalent of 1 a.m. Dallas time, I believe, and we get back around noon on Wednesday. So it's easy going there. Coming back, we're the first flight out in the morning for the first Dallas flight back out of London. So you're having to function when you should be sleeping. That is kind of rough. But again, because I'll be the relief pilot, uh, we take off out of London and I go to bed right away. So that's a good perk. Um, Also, because it is a 4-person crew to London, normally we take the trip and divide it in thirds. We each get 1/3 of a break. Because it's a 4-person crew, we normally divide it in half. With the caveat being it's in half, but there's a new pilot up front, right? So they might need more time to prepare for landing. So we normally when I arrive in London with an experienced crew, we're in our seat 40 minutes prior to arrival. They might need an hour. And then normally prior to landing in Dallas, we're in our seat like half an hour prior to landing. They might need 45 minutes. So you might have shorter of a total piece of pie to cut up versus a normal line crew. But again, I still get a longer break overall. So they're actually fixing the roads. Maybe DFW Airport cares. This part's still crappy though. Only bad thing about signing in right now at in the 1 o'clock hour is close to shift change for a lot of my ground based employees. So parking spots can be hard to find, and traffic is a little bit heavier, and buses are a lot more full. So my normal parking spot will probably not be available. If I were to arrive half an hour from now, a lot more spots. If I got in here half an hour earlier, a lot more spots. I see a spot I want, but there's like 4 cars ahead of me, so I'm sure they all saw the same spot. All right, let's park the car and head inside.
Parked the car, cleared KCM, and got to the airplane first. Again, I am the FC, or the second relief pilot, so I sit right there in that seat. It is not as comfortable as the other jump seat, to be honest, but it's fine. It's still, I mean, there's still plenty of room in the flight deck. I'm kind of staying in the corner, just showing you how wide and much room there is on the 777 flight deck. And the rest of the crew showed up. We launched on time and nice takeoff. And soon after that, we headed back for the breaks. And I came up just prior to 2-dep, right before we were going to enter the oceanic portion of the trip. And this week, I'm going to talk about a little bit how oceanic operations work. So if you notice 2-dep, that's letters, right? But the next fix is 5250 north. That is a latitude and longitude waypoint. Those go all the way across the ocean. And every day, someone really important and intelligent makes these highways in the sky, makes these tracks for us that go from one name fix to another name fix. We get off at Pickle. That's where we exit the oceanic portion of our journey. So this whole process, we do it every time we cross the ocean. We even though we have a flight plan and we have a clearance from DFW Airport all the way to London, that's not actually true. We're only cleared to our oceanic entry point, which is 2-dep. We now have to get an oceanic clearance across the ocean, and this is how we do it on the 777-300. Normally, this stuff is already filled out, but I do it manually because this is Flight Sim 2020. But it would have our flight number, the ATC facility that we're going to be using, the entry point, the flight level we're requesting to fly over at, which might be different than our current flight level, our ETA to the entry point, right here it is 0028 Zulu, what Mach speed we're going to be flying. And we also tell them our highest flight level we can go to. A controller in Gander starts looking at all the data from all these flights and assigning us different flight levels to be assigned to so we can all go over more or less together across the ocean. And it's very common to have a plane 1,000 feet above us, 1,000 feet below us, and maybe even at our same altitude and maybe like 8 miles ahead. And we're all assigned a particular Mach number that we have to maintain for spacing all the way across the ocean. Once we get our clearance back, I can't show you what it looks like, but they gave us a clearance back, or they just say clearance received, our new way of doing things. They changed it like a few months ago, and we fly our clearance. And if we can't fly our Mach within 0.02 of our assigned Mach, we must tell them. Now, don't be too worried. They can see everything we're doing in our box. So if we make a mistake or you change anything, they'll let us know within seconds that, hey, what are you guys doing? Now, let's say there's someone right above us at 1,000 feet and 4 miles ahead, and we're getting hit by the wake turbulence. We're allowed to offset our course up to 2 miles to the right of the assigned course. So, right here, I'm putting right one for a 1 mile offset to the right. I can do R0. Well, R0 is on course, but right one or right two on the 777. I've heard the 787 can go tenths of miles off the course. We can only do up to 2 miles, and that is it. Even when we do a 1 mile offset, they know right away. And a few minutes after entering the oceanic portion of the journey, we'll get a uh, prompt on our center screen here from them. Confirm our routing is these waypoints, and we're going, this routing, and we're going 1 mile right of course. They just want to make sure that they know that we know that they know that we're all on the same page. Now, we can maintain an offset until we get to our exit point, which is Pickle. So we can go up to 2 miles to the right up until we get to Pickle. At Pickle, we must fly over Pickle directly. And to make sure we can remember this, many of us we can set up reminders on the 777 for various things, including like a eat at a certain time. So we'll look at our time at Pickle, and we'll say, hey, 10 minutes before Pickle, let's make sure we take off the offset there. And the official name for the offset, of course, is SLOP, Strategic Lateral Offset Procedure, if that's what you're wondering. So we do SLOP um, over the ocean. And again, slop is 0, 1, or 2. So if you slop 0, you're still slopping. And it depends on the ride and what's around us if we're going to move or not. And one more piece of information about the 777. We have this third MCDU head here, also called an FMS. It can be used as an FMS, but it's also used for a communications hub. So we can call other phones on the airplane, and we can also have a satellite phone. So on the 777-300 on the Flight Sim, it doesn't work, but we have a satellite phone and cabin interphone. We can call all around the airplane. 'Cause again, it's a long airplane. So we may have to call the very back of the airplane. We can call the crew rest areas, yada, yada, yada. We can also pick up this old fashioned phone here and call various doors and places around the aircraft. So the crossing was nice and boring, that's the way I like it. The other FO, she was very senior to me, been on the plane a long time, so she was put in charge. Um, Easy crossing, got to London, cleared customs, and again, it's early in the morning, right? Um, I'm been awake a long time. I'm ready to go to bed. Hopped in the bus, and here it is, 8:19 in the morning, 2:19 in Dallas. I always keep Dallas time on my watch so I can know what time it is at home. But I'm trying to be chipper. I'm like, hey, let's go this. Let's go to the hotel. Ha ha ha. And now for a debrief.
So London and Flight 50. This is the very first flight number I did as a 777 pilot at my airline last year in May, Dallas to London. Um, I used to call it a gentleman's flight because I left at 3 in the afternoon or so, got back around 1. Kind of nice, right? I don't know. I mean, getting here wasn't too bad. Uh, but I was the first pilot to the airplane. I did meet before I even got to the airplane. Sorry, I met Mr. Taylor. I call him Mr. Taylor. He is a longtime supporter of mine on social media. I hate saying follower. He's a supporter of mine on social media, and he's gone from this regular old. I want to say started when he was either nothing or maybe a beginning of his stages of his career as a pilot, and we've talked multiple times throughout the last couple of years. I've been on social media, and he is now a pilot at my regional. It happened to be I was just standing in Terminal D. He walked up to me and he said, "Mr. Bird." I'm like, and the people know who I am. So I shook his hand. Yeah. So you have no idea who I am. I said, no, I don't know who you are. Mr. Taylor. And I instantly knew who he was because I always call him Mr. Taylor because he has his first name on his username. Anyway, it was great to finally meet you, Mr. Taylor. And he was doing what I used to do, which was airport standby. I did it for a whole year, but he's taking it in stride. He's commuting right now. He'll be based in Dallas here soon. I mean, be living in Dallas here soon. Anyway, I went down to the airplane. I was the first pilot to arrive. And as the relief pilot, the captain had messaged us, and he told us that he didn't want us to do the interior pre-flight at all. Cool. Because what we normally do as relief pilots is the exterior pre-flight and the making the beds for the bunks. Now, that was first. I said, you know what? I'll go ahead and do the bunks because it's right there, right? And so I went up to the loft, and it's very warm up there. on the ground because of the way the system is designed. So I made one side of the bunks, and I make them twice. That way, whoever's laying down first can take off the top layer, put down two new pillows, and go. I made it twice. I'm like, it's sweaty up here. So I went back downstairs, cooled down a little bit. The AC's on in the cabin, but upstairs it just didn't cool down. Went back up again, made the other bed. But by that point, I went back downstairs, and the captain had arrived. Talked to him for a little bit, and then the new captain, training captain who was being trained, had arrived, and then the other relief pilot arrived right before boarding started. And so I told her, "Hey, I've already done the bunks." So she went outside and did the exterior pre-flight. Um, totally full. Every seat was full. Coming to London, pushed back a few minutes early, and it was the captain's first time flying a 777-300. He did a fantastic job uh, taxiing out and taking off. The Czech Airmen I have flown with before, once before. Last year I flew to Narita, and I timed out when I was there, and I said, "Hey, Mike, I flew to last year to Narita." I said, "Oh, okay," and he's a Czech Airman, so he flies with lots of people. And I said, "Yeah, we I timed out there." And he said, "Oh man, okay." And then he remembered that. He said, "Yeah, Darren, I do remember that story." Um, he's a great pilot to fly with. I like his style of teaching and managing the flight deck as a instructor and as a captain. Like he's the kind of person you want to fly with, even if you aren't being trained. Uh, he's extremely organized, and his delivery of how he delivers information is very clear, concise, and doesn't he never demeans you. He is backs you up, says, "You know what, let's try this." He gives you the right amount of information without overloading you. Some Czech airmen will try to like throw everything at you, like because especially when you go to a new fleet, you get two trips depending on your experience level. I got two trips. And I was set off to the wolves. Some of them will try to not force, give you so much information, just throwing it all at the wall, hoping somebody sticks. He gives you the right amount of information. What I feel is the right amount of information that it all sticks. Anyways, um, and the captain that's being trained is pretty interesting as well. He was a long time narrow body captain on the 7-3, and maybe probably other fleets as well. But his daughter is here on the same fleet, and she rushed her and her husband both rushed up through the regionals. They've Envoy, our regional carrier, and then they both went to Southwest, and then she came over here, and her husband stayed over at Southwest. So it's pretty neat having so many people in one family being in aviation. My kids have no desire to be pilots right now. Anyways, we took off. The other relief pilot made the break schedule, and then we went back to the loft. And again, I haven't been a 300 except for like I reassigned last month. Before that, it was a long time since I've been a 300. So I slept really good, but it was a 4 hour break, and I can't sleep for 4 hours. I couldn't anyway because we hit some monster turbulence. So it was only moderate, but really good moderate. That I put on my seatbelt inside of the uh, in the bed. It bounced around pretty good, and then it woke me up. I had about an hour into sleeping, and I'm like, "Well, crap. Well, now I need to use the restroom, but I can't because it's so bumpy. It's not. I'm not walking around in bumps." So we waited for like 45 minutes for it to settle down. Then I went downstairs and a little groggy. Again, it's only like 6 in the evening or so. I was sleeping, and there's a medical issue going on. That's all I'll say. And I mean, I opened the door. I'm like, oh, right at the door. I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of went to the restroom, and I came back out of the restroom. They were on the phone with medical personnel, and I'm like, I'll wait a few minutes. I say, "Hey, do you need my help at all?" No? Okay. If you need me, I'm up there. So I'm like, well, this could be bad because they had all kind of stuff out. Like, well, let's see what happens here. Maybe plan for diversion here soon. I was expecting my phone to ring next to my head. There's a phone next to each pilot's head in the loft. So I'm like, all right, phone's gonna ring. But we kept bouncing around pretty good. But my about 3 hours and 40 minutes into my break, I had enough. Called down and said, "Hey guys, I'm awake." And the other relief pilot, had already left the loft. Went downstairs, and it was moved out by then. And she was in the galley talking to the flight attendants, drinking coffee. So I kind of joined them for a little bit. And then we went up front. I was in the FO seat because I was the second relief pilot. She was in the captain seat. She's the first relief pilot. She's way more senior than me anyway. She's been on the airplane for 6 or 7 years. She's also interesting. The other relief pilot used to be an Olympic class figure skater, ice skater. Like she didn't get too much in details, but she was like very up there in the 80s as a figure skater. Anyways, um, we went up right before we entered the Gander Oceanic, and we were up there for the rest of the flight. It was a very standard crossing. Um, the bumps settled down pretty well. Nothing exciting. Came once it was getting closer in. Captain, the chairman came up first and took my seat, and then the other captain came up. I did have my meal in flight. It was chicken. It was average. And I had breakfast before. It was fruit. It was good. Uh, Coming into London, we did one turn at Bovingdon, and once we were outbound, they cleared us back to Bovingdon, and we got vectors to 9 left. The captain, the check airman landed it. I'm not sure why they swapped, but the check airman landed it. He made a fantastic landing. Like he got a little bit of a tailwind and wobble on short final, and he fixed it up and just greased it on. I gave him crap for that. Like, Mike, you damn check airman, you guys keep greasing it on, and you're screwing up my retirement plans because I need my retirement. I have stock in Goodyear and Dunlop. And it took him a second. He's like, "That's a good one there." Got to our gate area. The automated parking system was not working. They had to have airport operations come over help us park. We parked, cleared customs, got on the M4. There's an accident, and it took like an hour and 4 minutes to get to the hotel. Got here. Thankfully, the rooms were ready. Went up to my room, quickly changed the clothes. This is about 8:30 in the morning, and I slept for about 4.5 hours. So it is now 1:32 in the afternoon. It is 7:32 a.m. in Dallas. I have finished my bids for the next month. Get the results in 3 days. I am going to go find lunch and find a gift for my wife for her birthday coming up. So, London. For the rest of the month, right now, I have a Rome and a Madrid. Let's see if I can keep those without the trade out because my wife has some stuff going on. All right, it continues.
After my nap, I did go out and about in search of a gift for my wife for her birthday. Getting around London is stupid easy. The tubes is easy. Google Maps makes it easy. Now, every now and then, do get turned around because I don't always verify that I'm on the right line and ending point because I'll be on the right track, but they have multiple lines on the same track. But eventually, I made it to Hamleys. It was a beautiful day in London. 69 degrees, clear skies, fabulous day. Now, this is their flagship store, Hamleys, and it is a multi-story store. And they have so many employees. They're demonstrating toys. They have lots of hands-on stuff. They have ice creams store, candy inside. It is a great way to spend some time in London if you need to go somewhere and just chill for a bit with kids, or even if you're a big kid like me. Now, my wife's a big Harry Potter fan and a big puzzle fan. So I went around the store every single level looking for Harry Potter or puzzles. I ended up buying this a Lego set, a Wicked Lego set, and then I was looking for a puzzle set, and they had a Harry Potter puzzle, but it didn't look very Harry Potter-ish. It just kind of said Harry Potter. It wasn't very colorful, so I didn't get that one. I did end up getting a Wicked one because this doesn't really scream Harry Potter to me. And to reward myself, I got some silly blue ice cream from Hamley's because it's a nice day. So kind of sat on the bench and enjoyed my ice cream, enjoyed my day. I did do quite a bit more walking around the city. And I said it before, and I'll keep saying it. London is a great city to just walk around. It is a very walkable city, and I have found so many random stores just by walking around and seeing them. Like this donut place on the left looks very interesting. I stopped by a chocolate place, looking for chocolate for my wife. It was Swiss. She didn't care for it. I FaceTimed her, but eventually it was time to head back down the tube. And for some reason, I can't remember why, I wanted to go to Waterloo Station, and we've all done this. It tells you like what door to leave from, and I left from the entirely wrong door. But I was impressed, and the train stations in all of Europe always impressed me about how large they are. Um, I wish the United States had such a large and vast transit system. We don't need as yeah. I would love not to have to use a car everywhere I went. All these trains looked extremely convenient. Very confusing, but extremely convenient. Eventually, I made my way back toward my hotel, stopped by a grocery store for some papaya, orange juice, and some breakfast items. We had an early start the next day. I hit the bed right about 7 o'clock, get a good night's rest, up the next morning, and here is the morning debrief before the ban.
And good evening. It's currently 11:24 p.m. in Dallas, 5:24 a.m. in London, and I am getting ready to go down to the van. Now, you might be wondering, Darren, are you sitting on a bed? I am sitting on a bed. Darren, yesterday, when you filmed this video, you were sitting in a chair, and I indeed was. That was a different room. The room I'm in right now has no chair. Why? Yes. The first room I was in, I was exhausted. So I got in from London. I got in from Dallas, and I was just tired. And the room was okay, cool. They always had the window open when you get into the room. Came in the room, changed clothes, and I just went to bed. I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And I did turn the AC on and turn it down, and just went to bed. And I woke up really warm. Yeah, the AC wasn't working in that room. Now it was only like 74 degrees outside, but with the sun shining and whatever, it was a warm room. So I woke up from my nap. I'm like, this sucks. And I should have changed rooms right away. You'd think 17 years of staying in hotels would have taught me better. Called the front desk, said my AC isn't working. Oh, we'll fix it for you. Okay. I left and went about my day. So I left the room, went for about a 4 or 5 mile walk around the city. I did look for a gift for my wife. Her birthday's coming up here soon. Went to Hamley's, walked all around the store, their Regent location, their flagship store. I love that store. I found a Harry Potter puzzle, but it's only sold here in the UK, and it didn't look very Harry Potterish. And I sent her a picture of it. She's like, "That's not my thing." But I enjoyed Hamleys. But did my full walk and then came back, and the AC was still broken, so I had to get a new room on a different floor, and that's fun. Packing up and and packing up and moving and unpacking room again. That light, that's a feature of the room. It doesn't work apparently. It just randomly shuts on and off if the power is applied to the light. I love London and this hotel. Not really. Every hotel room in this hotel chain is very small. Um, it is what it is, right? Other bases stay in different parts of the city and they have bigger rooms and better locations. I don't know why they put Dallas in this location. I don't get it. I know we have more flight than any other base, but I would love to stay somewhere else in London than where we stay now. Anyways, I am the FC for the trip, second relief pilot. Get back around noon today in Dallas time, so I have a full day left. I had a good night's sleep. I went to bed around 8 p.m. Woke up at 4 ish a.m. I always get up early, so I am around 4:30. Yeah, 4:20 a.m. But of course, I'm going to bed right away. Once we take off, I go back to our break for probably 4.5, 5 hours. It's a long freaking break. I can't sleep that much, so I did put some movies on my iPad to watch in addition to sleep. Um, Pretty easy flight, being a 4 person crew to Dallas out of London. No, it's 3 persons, and that's all I have to say. So I'm gonna finish packing up a room. Maybe I'll get some more light and head downstairs. All right.
Made my way to the airport. I got caught up in security because I didn't follow the procedure with my Legion Pro electronic device, and I got my name in the book, whatever. Plane wasn't quite ready, so I took a few minutes and adored this Airbus 350 from British Airways. Love that airplane. And have you ever noticed the control tower is like a top hat? Now, on this day, we had much less headwind than predicted. We got in stupid early, over an hour early to the gate, not even trying. We were all amazed. Again, a few of us were commuters, so that was helped them quite a bit. I'm just driving home, and for like the second time in my career, I made it home before my arrival time. But first, let's do the debrief on the way home.
All right, 11:54 a.m. in Dallas, and I'm already in my car. Not even supposed to be here until 12:30 at the gate. We left the hotel in London a few minutes early. We're all chipper to go around 5 in the morning. Got to the airport, no traffic, but London security got me again. So I took out all my electronics out of my bag this time. That was all not an issue. Um, but my keys and my ID. So I went through and I beeped, and I know it was my keys, right? I purposely bought metal-free cowboy boots, a metal-free belt, um, my watch, Apple Watch Ultra, the first generation, titanium. It doesn't beep. It was my keys. Because I beeped, I had to take my belt off, my shoes off, my watch off, and I think that was it. And I told them they're all metal free. So that's the policy. Now, you'll say, Darren, you should take your ID off. And I have done that before because I knew I might beep. It doesn't always beep, too. It depends on that machine. I took my ID off in the past and sent it through. And they said, you need your ID. I went, it's in the bin because I'll beep. And they had a big hissy fit about it. So they said, well, next time you should just take off the plastic off your ID and hold it. I went, if I do that, it's going to wear down the piece of plastic on there because it's not designed to be taken on and off again. But anyways, so they had to do that. Then they had to do the extra security protocols. I'm not gonna say what they are, but they did extra security protocols on me and then extra security protocols on my bags, all because I beeped because of my keys. I hate London. I do. I don't want to go there anymore for a while. I'm done. I am done with London for a while. Got to the gate early. We were not full by any means. We were very light. We had way over 100 open seats. Like, we were very light. Almost 150 open seats. Pushed back from gate 332 and headed toward 9 right. Now, the captain who's in the captain's seat is a new captain. This is his second time ever taxiing at 300. And London has kind of narrow taxiways. So you have to really do it. And the 300 is so long, you have to do a lot of overshooting. Like, you go past where you should turn and then turn. And we have exterior cameras to help make sure you know where the mains are and the nose is. But a lot of us is experience knowing how much to overshoot. And you got lots of practice. Like, I'll show you on the screen how we taxied. But we had to go down, I think it was Foxtrot to Foxtrot 1. And then I think it was Echo, Foxtrot Bravo, whatever it is on the screen. You had to do some bunch of 90-degree turns to get down to the runway. No delay getting out of London. Took off, and then whatever reason, 9 right, they won't ever give you a normal clearance via like a center of the plane. For a 9 right departure, they have to talk to you, and I don't know why, but it's take off 9 right at 2 DME fix, and then they give you a heading. I think it was heading 220, but they can't do that via text for some reason. But took off, made the right turn, climbed out. We're so light, we're climbing like a bat out of heck. And then the FB, other relief pilot, she started making the brakes, and the captain, the check airman, said, "Hey, I don't care what you guys do for brakes, but I want to go on break in 3 hours." So, meaning we had a 3-hour break for the first break, versus the normal, like, for 4-person cruise, like splitting it in half. That's fine. So we had a 3-hour break. I went upstairs, fell asleep quickly because I conditioned my head, no caffeine this morning, that I'm going to go to bed. So I slept for a good hour and a half, probably an hour, 40 minutes of my break. Woke up to use the restroom, yada, yada. Went downstairs. Thankfully, there was no emergency this time. Kind of rolled around on the bed till my break was over. Went up front, and I went up front just right before we were exiting the track. So they did most of the crossing by themselves. I'm in the FOCDN, I'm pilot flying, and we're up there for 3 hours. And I had my breakfast. That's what's also weird. So normally when I do London, Dallas, I always get a lunch as my meal. And she handed us the sheet that had breakfast on there. It had French toast or an English breakfast. I'm like, I think she made a mistake. No, because we left at 8 in the morning. It's breakfast. So I had French toast. It was good. It was filling. After my 3-hour shift was over, we each then had like an hour break per set of pilots. But the check airman and captain like, hey, we don't really need a break. So we had an extra 2-hour break. So of the however long flight it was, I had a break for over 5 hours. So I went upstairs, and I didn't go to the bed this time. I went to the seat. We have 2 business class style seats up top instead. I got, oh, okay, you know, so Chevrolet, GM won't put Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in their cars for whatever reason. And their built-in system normally is fine. It's been acting up lately, and now I can't navigate home because I'm not signed into my stupid Google account. So I'm gonna guess how to go home. I know how to go home, but traffic, which way is best, so I'm gonna go straight. Anyways, I went up to the business class seat. I watched an episode of 30 Rock, ate some snacks, and then I took about a 40-minute, 45 minutes to an hour nap, but eyes closed with my eye mask on, drifting in and out of napping. The other FO she was downstairs talking for a while, and then came upstairs and sat in her business class style seat. Then we got a phone call about 45 minutes prior to arrival. Went back down, sat in my seat, and the new captain made a very good landing. It wasn't great, but a very good landing. First time landing at 300 on 18 right, and we were crazy early. Like, again, right now it's noon. I'm supposed to be landing. Not supposed to be arriving until 12:30. Gate was open, and one of the flight attendants was so happy because she wanted to make a 12:17 commute flight home. I don't know where she's going, but 12:17 is like, that's early. We'll do our best, and she's gonna make it. Like she zoomed past me in customs. So, but now headed home. It's a nice 95-degree day in Dallas Fort Worth. It was like 50 degrees this morning in London. I am off for a couple of days, and in theory, I have Rome and Madrid left for the month. We'll see. Maybe I'll go to Rome. Maybe I'll trade. Well, Rome is high value. Madrid, if I could trade into an Incheon, Barcelona, or Narita, I'll do that. But good trip overall. I'm done with London for a while. Just done with London for a while. But I will send it over to Darren to finish it all up. All right.
So I indeed pulled into my driveway at 12:09 p.m., which again is 21 minutes before my scheduled arrival time at the airport. The last time this happened was during bad COVID when no one was flying, and we parked at the terminal. It's very rare to be in my driveway before we even arrive. And I have no problem with London per se. It's just the security there is different than every other airport in the world, literally. Now, as far as the trip went, it was good. All right. We can see the details to my left as far as what our schedule was. We actually did better than our schedule. So on the way there, we left 3 minutes early. We got there 11 minutes late. But again, according to the Department of Transportation, we could arrive 14 minutes late, and we are still on time. Because we were 11 minutes late, 11 minutes shorter overnight, but we also went 11 minutes over block. I'm paid block or better. The scheduled flight time or better is what I'm paid. So on the way back, we left 10 minutes early, weren't very full. We got back 68 minutes early. That's a record for me, by the way. We weren't even trying, it just happened that way. My hourly pay was $6,004.51. My per diem was $198.88. My international pay, something we do here, is $98.58. And my 401k contribution for this was $1,020.77. Again, that's money that my airline gives me directly into my 401k that excludes what I put into my 401k myself. Now, my day wasn't done. I am a dad, right? So I was able to attend my oldest, her last orchestra performance in her junior high. Again, I had just enough energy to do that. Again, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. I put videos up once a week, normally on Thursdays. If you don't mind, click subscribe. Heck, go crazy, drop a comment, and even go crazier and like the video. Have a great day. And as always, thank you for stopping by.